big chapter in our first video on crushing lines was dedicated to a French defense. Well, French defense with bishop d2 variation. Bishop b4, e5, and on c5, bishop d2. Now, some things are stay the same, but some things have changed in French defense. I developed it further and with the great help of my dedicated friend Ripka, and I analyzed, and now I have definite conclusion. The line is good. Bishop d2 is still good. We have to make several adjustments, including additional option for black. Well, we had as a main option knight e7, and that's what we're gonna do first. In knight e7 line, I want to go through some changes that I will show you now. Knight b5, bishop takes d2, queen takes d2, castling. This is most controversial line and most challenging line to play for black. Knight c6, knight f3, and now a6. Well, we play knight d6. This is still, we are going through unchanged part. Black takes on d4, white has to play bishop d3, and now f6, attacking the pawn on e5, castling, f takes c, f takes c. Now, this position was well analyzed by us, but not to the perfection. Well, we mentioned that knight takes e5 is not a good idea to play for black, and this is unchanged because knight takes e5, rook takes f1, rook takes f1, queen takes d6, queen f4, creating the threat of the checkmate on f8, and bishop d7 is also leading to checkmate because queen f8 check, followed by mate on f7. So the only move that black has here is knight f5, but that all that we had in original DVD like 13 or 14 years ago. Queen g5, and black can resign because there is no defense to rook f6. For example, on bishop d7, there is rook f6, and there is no defense to rook takes h6. This is easy win for white. Now, what has changed? Couple of things changed. First of all, the main move is rook f3, and we were taking with the rook, and on knight takes e5, we played rook h3, which is incorrect, and that's where we revise it. Now, on dedicated DVD dedicated to French defense, I explained it, how we changed it, and that's how we play. We play queen f4. And this is big advantage for white. Knight takes f3, gf, knight c6, and here queen f7, king h8, and for a long time this position was evaluated by us as a draw. After queen h5, now queen cannot defend on h7 because queen h5 creates double threat. Queen takes h7 mate and also knight f7 fork. But after g6, bishop takes g6, this is a forced draw. After queen g8, knight f7, and as amazing as it looks, white has nothing better than a perpetual check. But what has changed? White has nearly winning position here. Instead of playing queen h5, the winning move is king h1, creating threat of rook g1. And only move for black is queen g8. Well, I don't want to go through every detail, but those are the absolute best moves, and you will have no problem to verify it with any software engine. So now queen g8, queen f4, creating knight f7 threat. And now knight d8 is forced, and after rook g1, this is a forced win for white. White has very few pieces, 4 pieces, but they are all optimally active and they are very, very dangerously placed. And on bishop d7, killing move is rook g5 to prepare rook h5. Not rook g3, because next move rook h3 will be met by e5 for black. So the winning move is rook g5, and no matter what black does, so g6 for example, will lead to complete destruction after queen g4, threatening bishop takes g6, and there is absolutely no defense. On queen f8, bishop takes g6. White wins outright without any problem. And queen takes d6 will be met by bishop h7. And this is a forced win. Now, there is a one little problem. Actually, it was a big problem for a while. But luckily, I never updated any French defense until I found a complete solution to that problem. Look at this position. In this position, e7 knight, black's e7 knight, was on h6. Black would have had nearly winning position even after knight takes e5. So, as few games are played, few players playing bishop d2 variation. So black came with innovation, with improvement in the very early stage. After e4, e6, d4, d5, knight c3, bishop b4, e5, c5, bishop d2, knight h6. This is very serious improvement. Now, I don't like position after knight b5, because bishop takes d2, queen takes d2, castle and f4 will be met by a6 or even knight c6, which is transposition, and now a6, knight d6, cd. With knight on h6, take my word for it, that whole variation is going down the hill. So it's very bad for white. So what should we do? And for a long, long time, this was bothering me. Finally, there is a solution. After knight h6, in this position, We don't play knight b5. So what should we do here? Let me tell you this. My duty is to find playable and preferably better position for white. And if I don't, we have to dismiss completely this variation. And since this variation is not played a lot for white, and we have nowhere to look for help, we have to invent the help. Knight h6 is a serious challenge and requires completely new approach. And the way to play it and the best continuation, there are a couple of tries for white, but let me give you just one that is being proven to be good. Bishop takes h6. Well, it's kind of unusual to play bishop d2 and then bishop takes h6. Pawn takes h6, and now a3. Taking on c3, of course, is not good for black, because white has very solid center, and there is absolutely no justification or compensation for completely ruined king side of black. So, same thing I should say about c takes d. On c takes d, we simply take on b4 and take on c3, and if black attacks two pawns, we can always go queen d4, and on knight c6, bishop b5. White has big positional advantage. So, the only sensible move in this position for black is bishop a5. And after bishop a5, we play d takes c, which forces black to take on c3. Black cannot allow b4. So, after bishop takes c3, bc, at least black has something to play for. All these ruined pawns of white. Triple pawn plus e5. But black has bad bishop on c8 and totally ruined king side. In this position, after bishop takes c3 and bc, best move is queen a5. We go queen d2, and now queen takes c5. Also possible is knight d7. Well, okay. After queen takes c5, we have to play simply knight f3. And we have no problem maintaining the advantage. We can easily castle on the king side. Black has no place to castle. Bishop is coming to d3, and h6 pawn is going to be potentially big hazard for black. So queen takes c5 is not the best choice. So let's try knight d7. This way, black has an option, black attacking e5 pawn, and has an option to take on c5 with the knight. And there is a second time white loses tempo. They've just played queen d2, now we go queen d4. There is explanation for that. We didn't want to go queen d4 while knight was on b8. And we cannot go queen d4 now and allow knight c6, obviously. So we went queen d2, and on knight d7, queen d4. We accomplished what we played for. Now, if knight takes c5, we defended our center and we defended our queen side. Now we quickly develop and castle and black is going to have to deal with big structural damage on the king side. We want bishop d3, rook g8, for example. We simply can go g3, and on b6, knight e2. I like for knight to protect c3, maybe go to f4 potentially. White has, in my opinion, serious advantage. And on bishop a6, we can go rook b1. We have to go rook b1 because we cannot castle now. Because bishop takes d3 and fork. So we make one prophylactic move. And after rook b1, in every case, white has an advantage. For example, queen takes a3 castle. Bishop takes d3, pawn takes. Black exchange their bad bishop for our good bishop. And now they have to prepare escape for their queen back to e7. And after knight d7, queen e3, attacking h6, h5, and now knight d4. Black's position is very dangerous. I can't imagine who wouldn't like to play this position for white. There is a big potential threat of knight b5 attacking queen and going to d6. Also potential of f4 and f5. And there is no potential for black to ever have their king in safety. After finding this possibility, I can tell you with a great confidence that bishop d2 system lives with some adjustments that I just showed you, together with the previous analysis what we had on knight e7. Altogether, we have very solid system. And to tell you the truth, I don't even know. Knowing all about this variation, I don't know what is the right way for black to fight for equality. Maybe I'm overly optimistic, but it doesn't matter. I'm showing variations that back up my optimism. And if somebody thinks differently, please speak up. So this is conclusion of all my presentation on French defense with the crushing lines. Remember, this is not the main line. It shouldn't guarantee you a big advantage because even the main line doesn't. This is line that is 100% credible and variations back it up, and I like it and I strongly recommend it.